Hello racers, this is Danny with Silver Horse RC with a little video on specifically setting up the ride height on our Silver Horse RC C9 Sauber 102 millimeter bodies. These are my absolute favorite bodies to run. They just handle really well, love the way they handle on the track, and well, they don't get caught up in the foam real easy, and they can take some punishment. I have had many of the Sauber C9 Kyoshos, which are absolutely wonderful and beautiful, but I have cracked nearly every single one that I have raced, and I have been racing these now and testing these for nearly 9 months, and I have yet to break one, which is just absolutely awesome. But today we're going to talk about setting up the ride height on. So I've got one set up here. This is just completely stock with the setting up the clips in the stock way. And setting it up this way, you will have nearly no clearance issues with just about any way that you could set up this car. Now, the only thing that you might not be able to fit underneath here is the really tall next center shock. Might have a little bit of trouble. You might, but most everything else will fit underneath here just fine. There's plenty of room, and when it's set up this way, you can see that we've got about 33 millimeters of clearance on the rear open arch, and it does sit up a little bit high, but I have seen these race. I have raced them this way, and they actually hook and stay on the ground with very little traction rolling as long as the rest of the car is set up properly with the tires and springs and everything else. So you really can run the car just as is. But if you want to take it to the next level, we have made this a little bit easier for you. So included with whichever C9 that you buy from us, you get the silver, so painted silver, painted white, or the unpainted body, which we have right here. You can paint any color that you want. We're going to include with that is two side clips, but they are a little unique in the fact that they've got notches built into one side. So if you want to set it down a little bit lower, you only have to set the notch down on the body and slide it all the way in, and that will automatically drop the body clip in about 1 millimeter, which then translates to about 3 millimeters in the back, and I'll show you in just a second. So you'd put in both clips and you'd face them down, and you'd get the little bit of lowering benefit out of putting them on this way. Now, if you want to have more clearance, you literally just turn them around from right to left and left to right and install them this way, and you would get the normal ride height. So it literally can set it up just by how you put the clips on, which is really, really awesome. So what it looks like, take this one off. This one's brand new, so it's nice and tight. This one's new too. I've got it set up with the clips facing the opposite direction in the lowering position, and you can see from the side over here that now we are about 3 millimeters shorter on the back, and what I would say is the perfect ride height. So like I said before, I didn't have a lot of traction rolling before, but also as you go faster and faster, that becomes a little bit more of an issue. And I love this ride height. I have absolutely driven this to probably its limits, at least I think so, on a small track, and I really can keep it on the road without any traction rolling at all. It's just absolutely incredible. Now, that does come with some other consequences, and that's the main thing that I wanted to leave you with after this video. So having it much lower does create a few issues if you're running a car like this with a 64 pitch gear differential in the back and not completely stock. If you're running it completely stock, you've got a lot less issues. But if you're going to run it with a spec car like this and with this setup, one of the areas that you're going to find is it's going to rub just a little bit right where the differential is. It just needs to have, and I'm going to show you a body where I've done it already. We have to remove a little bit of material here for clearance. And then like any other body, depending on the size tires that you run, this car has 19 millimeter tires. They've got a little bit more room for clearance, and I've got them trued down pretty good. But depending on the size tires, you might have to remove a little material, or might have to take away a little bit of the headlight bucket for clearance. making sure that the tire's not rubbing on anything, any of the part of the car is the first and foremost setup in any race car. So it's making sure that you got plenty of room around. So if you do want to put the lower clips in and lower it down, understand that you may have a little bit of issue clearing, and that also includes from the top shock as well. So this shock has been modified just a little bit here at the back mounting plate to be a little bit lower. So we have less clearance issues. The back of the car gets to be a little bit on the low side. So I've got that clear over here. And then, like I said before, I grind away a little bit of the body to make room for that spur gear in the back. This is the body. I'll show you first. I'll show you first where I've ground it down. It's probably not going to be easy to see in the camera, but I've just taken some of the material out here to make room for the differential. And then on the front side and the buckets, I've cleared a little bit of room here for the tires, making sure I got all sorts of clearance. Haven't really had much issues in the wheel arches like you find in some of the other bodies. I haven't had to grind any of that away, just had to make a little bit of room. This car also, this is my spec class body used for racing, and it's got a Lexan window in it too. And if you get the unpainted version, then of course you can put whatever window you want, the one it comes with, or you could put a Lexan window and drop the weight just a little bit. So you can see here on the side, this is my race body. The ride height is back at that 30 millimeter point, right at the top of the wheel arch. I think it's got a fantastic stance. Looks really good, but the most important thing is it handles just amazing on the track. These unpainted ones is the perfect opportunity to set one up just the way you want it, get it painted up, install the clips in whichever format that you're looking to do, whether you want to set it up, make it real easy, and set it up stock, or lower it down and do a little bit of tuning on your car so that it will look like this one and absolutely tear up the track that you're on. And we'll see you next time for the next tips.